Good evening, Fort Collins, and welcome to the 2014 State of the City. I am your mayor, Karen Weitkunat, and with me tonight is City Manager Darin Atteberry. And also joining us this evening are my fellow council members, Mayor Pro Tem Jerry Horrock, and council members Gino Campana, Ross Caniff, Bob Overbeck, and Wade Troxel. While the State of the City is one of my favorite events, this year is really special. Tonight, we're celebrating the sesquicentennial of Fort Collins. Hey, for those of you that don't like six-syllable words, it's the 150th anniversary. In 1864, a flood forced the small Army outpost known as Camp Collins to move to what is Old Town near Willow Street. Much like the flood that forced Camp Collins to grow stronger, the historic 2013 floods have left our community today stronger and more resilient than ever before. That small Camp Collins grew into a truly exceptional city. And tonight, we celebrate what makes it so special. The people like you who care deeply about one another, this place we call home, and our future.
Well, thank you, Mayor. It's a pleasure to be here again with you tonight. I couldn't agree more that this is a fantastic city, and you all concur. According to our recent citizen survey, 97% of residents in Fort Collins believe this is a great place to live. That doesn't happen by accident. Tonight, we're excited to highlight some of the recent city efforts and accomplishments and share stories we've heard from you about what makes Fort Collins truly exceptional. We'll ask you to journey with us as we imagine what the future holds for this place we call home. Our hope is that you'll come away with a new appreciation for our community and be inspired to take action to invest your own time, your talents, and your treasures in setting a positive course for the next 150 years in Fort Collins.
150 years, wow, quite a milestone for our community. In August, the Fort Collins Museum of Discovery will debut a very special exhibit that highlights Fort Collins' first 150 years. This will be the first display in the traveling exhibit space at the museum. Through collaboration with the community, it tells the stories and celebrates what makes Fort Collins Fort Collins. Included in the exhibit will be a 2014 living time capsule with tonight's guest book in it. If you have not done so, we encourage you to sign the book on the table over by the door, because it's your opportunity to leave your mark on history in the next 150 years. Everyone who lives here has a unique story of what makes Fort Collins special to them. I'm a proud resident who's been here 38 years. When I came in 1976, I saw a Fort Collins as a bustling community and a city full of hope and promise, where a family could live an American dream. Do you remember your first impression of Fort Collins? Listen to what some of you had to say.
My first memory is living in a motel on North College for a few weeks because we knew no one in Fort Collins. It turns out that the owner of the motel was our current mayor, Karen Weitkunat. And Karen and her husband Tom were among our first friends here, along with the diaper man, because our daughter was only 3 months old, and so our first friends were the people who owned the motel and the person who helped us keep our daughter happy.
As we drove in on Harmony Road, it was a 2-lane county road with barbed wire fences on both sides. And my first thought is, what did I get myself into?
One of my first memories is all my buddies running around the neighborhood having a good time. What's really fun is I still get to see a lot of those guys here in town. We're still friends, and they're customers of ours even, so it makes it really fun to still see old high school friends or college friends. So it's a great place.
I'm bursting with pride to live in such a progressive community that's committed to some very strong ideas like community and accountability and responsibility.
This community is really invested in itself and in being a Colorado community.
It is truly a community, and it's a place where people can be from wherever.
Developing bike culture has been a big part of that. I think it's a great way to get people together, is to get them out on bikes instead of kind of sitting in boxes in their cars. I think it's really conducive to healthy lifestyles, to social and communal lifestyles. So I think they're kind of hand in hand. It's hard to separate the commitment to bike culture from the commitment to community.
It's something that we can be proud of. We can go back to when I started with the Silver Grill, and we still have that same feeling that it's a slice of Americana.
The focus of Fort Collins on maintaining the natural beauty of where we live in Colorado, as well as
protecting some areas along the river and within the city to help people that live here have a good sense that they do live in a city, but they also live in a place that respects kind of the nature around the city.
My husband and I went for a bike ride and went along the reservoir hills right next to the reservoir. And I just remember looking out over the reservoir and just the whole Laurie State Park on the other side and thinking, yeah, this is the place I want to move.
My first experience down here in Old Town was how beautiful it was. It was in December, and the lights, and it was quite extraordinary place, and a lot of culture and beautiful old buildings.
That I was struck by how vibrant the downtown was, and the sort of just positive energy and sense of a great atmosphere, and I was just very happy that we had moved here and were a part of it.
Compared to other places that I've lived and visited, people here just seem to really enjoy living in a place where there's, a lot of different kinds of people, and just seem to get along really well. It's a good community.
So you can be whoever you want to be and love all kinds of things, and you can love multiple things, and there's still a place for you in Fort Collins.
A place that I thought would be incredible for raising my kids. Honestly, I was a little concerned that I was going to be giving up some culture and fun, but when I moved here, I was completely surprised pleasantly to find that that wasn't the case. So
I was so excited to find out that there was a symphony, an opera, a chorale, a theater, that there was, it wasn't going to be so hard to leave New York.
This community wants to put in to its own grassroots efforts, and I think that's incredible, and it gives you a lot of hope that if you set out to do something, you can achieve it because everybody's going to be behind you.
What a great place we live in. So what do people notice first about our city? It's a community that cares. This was a resounding theme from those we spoke with, from those folks who we spoke with. And yes, we have landmarks, we have buildings, cultural events that reflect our city's personality, but through the years, it's the caring spirit of the people of Fort Collins that's really made this an exceptional place. This year, the city will place a renewed emphasis on the people, or what we call the social side of sustainability. We've challenged our staff, city staff, to really understand what it means to be a world-class city, not just for a select few, or even those of us in this room, but for all of our residents in Fort Collins. You've told us that the cost of housing is a serious issue and that it should be a priority for the city, and we agree. People from all income levels, whether that's people who are homeless or working poor, students, emerging professionals and business owners, or active retirees. We all need choices for safe, affordable, and quality housing. You've told us that that's important, and we're paying close attention to it. While at the same time, we need to preserve the charm and the feel that makes Fort Collins distinct. It's going to take a collective effort to address these issues from the private sector, nonprofits, and the community to create achievable housing for all.
We have endless examples of our community working together. Last summer, we saw firsthand what true collaboration and regional partnership can accomplish. Fort Collins joined Larimer County and our neighboring communities of Loveland, Estes Park, and Windsor to host the largest event ever held in northern Colorado, the USA Pro Cycling Challenge. The Pro Challenge brought the best cyclists from around the world to our area, and more than 1,000 volunteers from across northern Colorado pitched in to make it a reality. Beyond exciting events, this sense of place is defined by so much more, including some of the very special city facilities. The Fort Collins Museum of Discovery welcomed more than 100,000 visitors within the first 8 months of being open. That's twice as fast as expected. We've invested nearly $7 million to expand the senior center. Beginning this summer, people of all generations will have a new place to share experiences together for many years to come. Another jewel of the city, the Gardens on Spring Creek, is celebrating their first decade. They're in the midst of a capital campaign to raise $2 million for a great lawn, a wonderful new venue for festivals, for small concerts and performances and private events.
As a former city planner, I have a real appreciation for the decades of work that have gone into creating our strong sense of place here in Fort Collins. We've defined ourselves with a robust bike culture, open spaces, a vibrant downtown, clean and attractive public spaces, and neighborhoods with unique character. Here's what you had to say about what makes Fort Collins special today.
The best thing about Fort Collins is that it's got quality of life for all people.
I've lived in various parts of the country through my medical training, West Coast, East Coast, and I've never felt in my life a sense of community and a sense of belonging and home that I have since I moved here, and I think it's just the type of people that live in Fort Collins.
There's people from everywhere here. You've got folks that work in every field of endeavor, and everybody is more than willing to talk to anybody.
And so you can go to a coffee shop and talk to somebody from across the world or somebody just next door. And so having that pool, just that pool to draw from, really makes it unique.
And I do think it's the spirit of giving and caring about others that really sets this community apart.
I love doing business here because I get to know all my customers, and it's fun to see them around town, but also when they come into the store, I get to have a personal meeting with them and find out how their family's doing and that kind of thing.
I also have a geographical compass. Can't go anywhere unless I know where the mountains are, the foothills and the mountains behind it. That's part of it.
I don't have to go far to be in nature, and I like that, and I can see a lot of wildlife.
I actually live west of town, and I can ride my bike even in the winter. They're plowed, they're paved, they're really nice. And I love that, being able to travel by bike pretty much anywhere pretty easily.
It's a pretty big city actually, but it still has the feel of being like a small town.
And I think that we're a shining example of small town big-mindedness and ambition and community and commitment to active outdoor lifestyles and a regional approach to solving problems and growth.
The college atmosphere, if you live here and you're not in college, it keeps you young. And 300 days of sunshine every year, rivers in your backyard, mountains, tons of fun stuff to do. I wouldn't want to be any other place.
I love to go to Old Town because you see parents with little kids, you see couples, you see college students. You see older couples, retired couples walking down the street holding hands.
It's a great place to live, and it was a great place for our children to grow up.
It's been good to us.
Yeah, very good.
There's just a lot to do
so you can never really get bored, and just how it's not so small and it's pretty big.
It's big enough to have plenty to do, but not so big that it's all hustle and bustle and stress.
I really like that it's very family friendly.
I can enjoy so many different activities with my kids. During the summertime, during the winter, fall, there are a lot of things that we can do and share together, whether it's outdoors or cultural things that are happening. I get to show my kids stuff that I think lots of other communities don't have.
It's Fort Collins. It's a place like no other. You definitely know you're in Fort Collins when you're in Fort Collins. The breweries, the art, the gallery walks, and just being down in Old Town, you know that you're in Fort Collins. Beautiful place.
Well, it is a beautiful place, and we want to keep it that way, even as the face of Fort Collins continues to change. You told us through this through the citizen survey, that traffic congestion is a concern and we should make transportation an ongoing priority. We're doing that. We continue to invest in the infrastructure that makes it easier for you to get around town, whether that's by car, by bus, bicycle, or even on foot. You've heard for years that MAX is on the way. I'm proud to say that after nearly 2 decades of hard work and planning, the MAX bus rapid transit system is on track to open this May. Our MAX drivers are in training, the systems are being tested, and the final construction is nearing completion. This is a huge milestone for our community. MAX is just one project that's helping to positively transform the Midtown corridor. Another catalyst for a bright future in Midtown is the Foothills Mall. At our last year's State of the City address, we stood here saying, in coming years, we need to finish the good work we've started. Well, I've got good news. This morning, we had the groundbreaking celebration for Foothills Mall. It is under construction. These legacy projects are about more than buildings and buses and malls. It's about connecting our residents and creating a unique sense of place for our community.
Like Midtown, North Fort Collins continues to change. Some recall what it looked like 20 years ago. I do. We've made great progress in helping to create a people-friendly place, a place where people enjoy living and working and playing. In the next 15 years, we expect more than 6,000 new homes in the North Fort Collins area, creating a new sense of place. The area is attracting major employees as well. Last year, Woodward broke ground on a new technology center at the site of the former Lincoln Greens golf course. We are deliberately preparing for these changes. We've been working on a plan for the Lincoln Corridor. With input from the community, we're defining a vision for the north side of the city that honors the rich, eclectic mixture of historic and new neighborhoods, homes, and businesses, while addressing critical infrastructure needs. And I'm happy to say that the third and final phase of the North College improvement begins later this year, completing a multi-year effort to enhance the key transportation corridor and make it safe, friendly, and an inviting community gateway. Yes. As you enter North College, one of the first things you see is the historic power plant, home to the CSU Energy and Conversion Lab expansion. It symbolizes Fort Collins' great spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship. For me, it's always been that North Fort Collins is the poster child of our city. It represents what brought many of you here. It is the hopes, it is the dreams, and the promises of yesterday, of today, and tomorrow.
So amidst all these, amidst all these changes we've seen over the past decades, Fort Collins remains one of the safest places to live in America. This is largely thanks to the excellent work of our police department, our Poudre Fire Authority, and other emergency responders. In that citizen survey that I've referred to, 9 in 10 of you say you feel safe here in Fort Collins. This safe environment is not something that we should take for granted. It requires constant attention. We continue to carefully monitor trends and proactively work to ensure that Fort Collins is a place where people feel safe to stroll through their neighborhoods at night and to let their children play in parks each day. In 2013, AAA called Fort Collins the safest driving city in America, reflecting the high priority we place on safety in our transportation system. Yet, we still have work to do. Bike vehicle crashes in 2013 remained steady from 2012, while overall traffic crashes increased. We continually evaluate all types of crashes and work to prevent them. We're embarking on a new comprehensive bike master plan with enhanced safety for cyclists, motorists, and pedestrians as a top priority.
Cycling is part of the fabric of this community. Last spring, the League of American Bicyclists designated Fort Collins as a platinum bicycle-friendly community, making us one of 4 cities in the nation to receive that honor. You bet. Fort Collins continues to receive other national accolades, but we also look to learn from others. Last year, we forged a wonderful partnership with our friendship city, San Cristobal de las Casas in Mexico. Their town was originally named a fort also, and like us, it's a favorite for tourists. But guess what? They're celebrating 486 years as a city. I'm sure that we will learn much from their experiences as we share our culture, our ideas, and best practices as friendship cities.
So the spirit of learning and continuous improvement is deeply embedded in our city organization. I look around at my colleagues, executive team members, and coworkers. Last fall, 8 on-site evaluators from the Rocky Mountain Performance Excellence Program visited the city and examined our approach to leadership, strategic planning, and knowledge management. After assessing our focus on customers, workforce, and operations, they awarded our city as one of only 2 organizations to receive the prestigious Timberline Award. This year, we've set our sights high on the Peak Award. This is the highest level an organization can achieve with this organization. Our passion for continuous improvement is matched by a deep-seated commitment to social, environmental, and economic sustainability. We use the triple bottom line thinking to guide our decisions, and it is having an impact. Our fiscal prudence has earned Fort Collins an unqualified AAA rating by Moody's. That's the highest rating they give, and it makes a strong statement about the city's diligence to fiscal responsibility.
And this year, our community will face some big choices in terms of what and how we fund crucial street maintenance needs and essential capital improvements. The quarter-cent street maintenance sales tax and the quarter-cent capital project tax both expire in the end of 2015. They both have profoundly and positively affected the quality of life in Fort Collins. The street maintenance quarter cent provides more than 40% of our total street maintenance budget, and it's critical to maintaining the desired quality for overall pavement conditions. With those funds, we maintained 38 miles of streets and repaired more than 19,000 linear feet of concrete curb, gutter, and sidewalks in 2013. Every time you drive, you see the benefits of this investment. Who hasn't had a personal encounter with a pothole? Last year, we filled 13,519 potholes.
Yes.
Wow. In the past decade, the Capital Improvement Quarter Cent has brought nearly $60 million to the community projects. This includes the beautiful renovations here at the Lincoln Center, the room you're sitting in, improvements to our streets, to our parks, and to police services, and the current expansion of the senior center. All these things are possible because you, the citizens of Fort Collins, cared enough to support the investment in the future of our city.
So I just have to say, off script here, 13,519 potholes. There are some pothole geeks in this room, so I just want to recognize those of us who happen to be fans about fixing each one of those. That's
Wait till this year, though.
We're working on it. We're working on it. Well, I can assure you that our elected officials and staff don't take the support that the mayor just mentioned for granted. We work diligently to make certain that your tax dollars are used wisely. We're very careful about that. People have a deep, deep commitment to that. The folks that I work with on the mayor and city council, and also with our city staff. I anticipate that we will be asking voters to support the continuance of these quarter-cent taxes on the April 2015 ballot. More than $300 million of capital needs have already been identified, so we have some very important community conversations ahead as we work to narrow that list to those projects that are highest priority within this community. This year, we will engage you in a thoughtful dialogue to make sure that the projects reflect your voice and your priorities.
After all, Darin, the vision of what Fort Collins will be isn't up to city officials. Our priorities are your priorities, and our promise for the future can only reflect the shared commitment of all of us. Our next video segment is a glimpse into some things that you see and hope that the future holds for Fort Collins.
I think it's a matter of staying the course that we're on now in terms of developing community and developing bike and pedestrian infrastructure and public meeting spaces and communal spaces. I think that's the best thing we've got going for us, is good people and good places for those people to get together and share and exchange ideas and develop a community that's based on a diversity of opinions and diversity of ideas and diversity of cultures.
Having diversity and having this be a place where we not only have it but embrace it, those are conversations, and those have to be intentional things that we have to work on together.
It cannot be the choice city unless we're conscientious and always reminding ourselves there's something that we have to listen to. We've got to have that inner ear to listen to everyone. And those who don't have a voice, make sure that at least we extend our efforts to help them as well.
But I believe the public transit is going to be a big thing to help out with traffic and everything else, especially as the city grows out. Education is a big thing. We're having the university here to help support the job force and schools, and getting volunteers to help out with everything is a big thing. Having the university helps the city a lot.
My hope is that they continue to be small business friendly and not bring in too many huge businesses that are going to make it sprawl too quickly.
I think what we can do is all of us work together to bring in the types of businesses we want into the community. The town needs to keep growing, but we also need to keep our charm and our feel of our city. We don't want it to just look like every other city across the country. We want it to have the heart and soul of Fort Collins.
I think we have to be cognizant of the types of industry maybe that we would like to have in our area. We have to be smart about our water resources and our air resources. We have to be very careful about this mix of progress and humanity, and how in our daily lives how we use those resources in order to get things done. In general, we have to be better stewards of the landscape.
I feel like there's going to be expansion. I don't know if that's going to be good or bad, but it's definitely coming.
We have a very educated population, and we have people that really care about not only today but tomorrow. Fort Collins has always been blessed with visionaries and people who are willing to look down the road 20 or 30 years and manage growth in a smart way, a way that will not be detrimental to our quality of life.
And I think we're going to be a city that's mindful of that growth. And so I think it's going to be fascinating in the next 20 years to see how Fort Collins expands and deals with all its popularity.
I think one of the keys for the future will be for the town to continue what it's been doing, which is to invest heavily in bringing world-class services to the folks who live here. Things like a highest level of education in the state, things like world-class medical care, which we're currently very proud of, and again, just that general culture of success and a community where people feel proud and happy to live here, and that just continues to attract people from all over the country who have a desire to live in a town like this and bring something to the table.
We've come a long way since the flood in 1864 at Camp Collins. Fort Collins' preparation and swift response in the face of the September extreme weather event caught the attention of the nation. I'm honored and privileged to represent Fort Collins and Colorado on the White House Climate Preparedness and Resilience Task Force. It is a great opportunity for us to share our successes and concerns over climate-related natural disasters directly with the federal government. A primary focus of our community must be water. For generations, the Poudre River has been the lifeblood of the community, and it's our responsibility to ensure that it will be there for future generations. The city continues watershed and water quality monitoring and protection in tandem with our natural areas conservation program. At the same time, we are seeking additional water storage, in part to address climate change and in part to prepare for future community needs. Along with water and climate change, the complex topics of hydraulic fracturing, recreational marijuana, the CSU Stadium will all be addressed in 2014. If history has shown us anything over the past 150 years, it's that Fort Collins leadership isn't afraid to tackle and to solve those tough issues. Your city council and city staff will bring the passion and the energy that it takes to address those challenges.
Well, and we know you're going to help us do that, and there's a lot of work ahead. These issues touch on people's value systems, and there are no easy answers to the issues that the mayor just posed. But that's what makes part of Fort Collins who we are. We have highly engaged community with people who take these issues seriously, and they care deeply about finding the best solutions. We also have strong community partners such as Colorado State University, Poudre School District, Front Range Community College, the Downtown Development Authority, the Platte River Power Authority, and I could go on and on and on. And they are equally committed to this community. The bottom line is that we live in a community where people actively work to make it a better place. And for that, I'm deeply grateful. I interact with city managers from all throughout the country, a lot of different cities. And I will tell you that without hesitation, the level of cooperation and collaboration that occurs in Fort Collins, as well as the intelligent discussions and debates and differences, really sets this community apart from many, many other communities. And I'd say I'm a pretty informed source about that. I get to talk with a lot of my counterparts. It's truly a privilege to be the city manager in Fort Collins. I'm coming up on 10 years, and I can't think of a better place. I want to, as I'm finishing up my part here, I want to just take a quick second to kind of go off script and say that if you don't know, the kind of work that our mayor and our city council put into being your board of directors for this city organization and this community, I'd encourage you to kind of peek in and watch some of their council discussions, but you may not see all the work that they do. I know that I've been in meetings with many today, with many of our council members around various issues. It's very, very common for the mayor and council to be in anywhere from 3 to maybe even 10 meetings in a day. They are very, very, I can't tell you how much I appreciate these volunteers essentially in being our board of directors for this very complex city organization. And they do it, they have strong disagreements, but I can tell you another thing, that there's no question about it. No one in this room can question their passion for Fort Collins. And that has been my entire 10 years with the city of Fort, or my 10 years as the city manager. Council member after council member after council member is deeply, deeply committed to this community. The other thing that you don't know, every Tuesday night we have city council meetings. And my coworkers in this room and city staff members, we pretty much write a book every week for these folks to study, right? Gino and Wade and Bob and Ross and Karen. We write books every Tuesday that are anywhere from this thick to this thick, and I'm not kidding you. And every single Tuesday, they get those packets on Thursday, and they're ready for the discussion on Tuesday night. And I just want to say thank you to the mayor and council for that. My executive leadership team is here. Their job is really to align resources and direct our city operations. And it's taken a long time to get the executive team that I can truly say what a privilege it is to work with these folks, these men and women. And they are deeply committed to this community, and they will bleed for this place. And I'm very thankful for the work that you all do and the partnership that we have on an hourly basis, 7 days a week. So I thank you for that. And then also I want to say to our workforce, the city workforce, day in and day out, they provide world-class municipal services. And as I mentioned earlier, we are trying to get better. We're continuing to get better. We've had a lot of recognitions for performance excellence and great work, but I think we all fundamentally believe we can get better, and we'll commit to doing that. So could you give a round of applause to my colleagues who do this, please? So, from my perspective, the state of the city, solid as a rock and moving forward. I cannot find a more productive, more efficient, more deeply, deeply committed organization, medium-sized American city anywhere. I can't find it, and I've looked and looked and looked. And, but I don't want to imply that we can't get better. We will always get better. So I'm optimistic about the future of Fort Collins. I believe that we're on a very positive upswing momentum. We're experiencing today, We've got a lot of work to keep this community vibrant, welcoming, and a special place for the decades to come. So again, thank you very much.
Our theme tonight is clear. Fort Collins is great because of the people who live here and care enough to make it great. During the past 150 years, our city has been blessed with many gifts. Some, such as our natural areas, are to be protected and cherished. Others, such as our neighborhoods, our thriving downtown, have been created and built. But the greatest gift everyone here has at this moment is the ability to play an active role to protect and build the Fort Collins of tomorrow. It's you, your friends, your families, your neighborhoods that make Fort Collins an exceptional place to live, to work, to play. It is truly a joy and a privilege and an honor to serve as the mayor of this great city. On behalf of the entire City Council, Thank you for joining us this evening and for being part of a caring community of Fort Collins. Thank you again for coming this evening, and let's have another great year. Thank you.